Hello and welcome back for the second episode of Chopping It Up. If you are new to this podcast, make sure to listen to episode 1 on our podcast channel, which is choppodcast.podbean.com. We would like to thank everyone for, giving us a shot in the first week and hope you are ready for round 2 this week. Also, please follow Chop Podcast, which is one word, on Instagram. Again, that's Chop Podcast, one word, on Instagram for everything related to this podcast. I am your host, Frankie, and I am joined once again by Jeffrey Steiner. Jeff, what do we have on tap for today?
How's it going, Frankie?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I hope you're having a good day. We have a good day for all of you guys. We have some new material, a new segment being introduced today, and we're bringing back some of the better-known segments from episode 1, the ones that you're more familiar with. We're taking a travel vacation with me around the world, random country, pick on a globe. We're going there. We're looking at the right kind of politics, and while we're at it, we're going to give some insight on whether or not, if we were president, what we would do. So it should be a good one today. Giddy up!
All right, and jumping right into off the cuff, my topic for this week is pretty simple here. It's banana boat. And no, it is not the banana boat that a family goes on in the water where someone falls off and kicks the other family member in the head, or the banana boat with Chris Paul and Dwayne Wade and LeBron James all when they were in Cabo. Not that banana boat. I'm talking about sunscreen.
Okay, I know this pain.
And the reason that this is on my off the cuff is because this weekend I went to the beach on Saturday. I was only there for about 2 hours, and I just forgot sunscreen. It wasn't like I thought about it and I was like, no, I don't need sunscreen. I'm too tough for sunscreen. It wasn't anything like that. It was, I simply forgot the sunscreen. And these last 4 or 5 days, it has been the most miserable thing I can imagine. Today was the first day I could raise my hands above my shoulders without excruciating pain.
Yeah, you look like a lobster. I gotta be honest. You're pretty red.
It's unbelievable. I've been putting lavender oils on me for the last 3 nights to try to soothe everything. And today was finally the first day where I got a little bit of relief. But it's just pretty simple here moving forward. Don't ever forget sunscreen going to the beach. Don't ever think,
and not
it's
just
only
the beach.
2 hours, I'll be okay. You won't. You really won't. And, it's not that I'm like extremely Irish and have very pale skin. Usually I tan pretty nicely. But this is just out of control.
Yeah. I can see, you're having a rough time, and you can see I'm having a rough time too. I went to the U.S. Open with a couple of friends this weekend.
Yeah, you're peeling there too on the forehead.
It's been a struggle. Went to the U.S. Open, Long Island, New York, Shinnecock Hills Golf Club. Beautiful place, not many trees, and I left
very windy too.
I left my banana boat at home too, and I thought it wasn't gonna peel. Woke up this morning, and it's been a disaster ever since. Turns out sunscreen necessity for the golf tournament. I should have bought a hat. Could have bought a hat. Sold out before I got one.
You have that really nice, like old person golfer hat. Where was that? Did you forget that at home?
The one I wore in the Chop Classic last year.
Yeah.
My straw hat.
Yeah, your little straw hat.
My Sunday hat, we call it in the Steiner household.
But you didn't wear it on Sunday at the U.S. Open.
I didn't want to upstage the golfers. They're there. They're on TV. If I wear that hat, suddenly I'm the star of the show.
Plus, Paulina, she might have caught a glimpse of that hat and been like, "Wow,
yeah,
sheesh."
I don't want to draw too much attention. I was going for the incognito thing, and well, I'm not so incognito now. I'm just purple.
It's understandable.
It sucks.
So yeah, we're both struggling.
Banana boat.
Yeah. Next time, remember your banana boat at home and bring that sunscreen. That's a free ad read.
It's not a problem with the sunscreen. It's more a problem of product placement in your bag. Yeah, for the beach. Right. Banana boat. Don't forget it.
All right. And so, Jeff, what is your off the cuff for this week?
There's really one thing that stands out for me. It's our president, Donald Trump, earlier this week, announced that he will be creating the United States Space Force, a new branch of the military, and it makes me sad. Like, it's exciting, it speaks to me, the inner kid in me. I think, oh, Space Force, here we go. We're going to start having pilots on spaceships. I can be Captain Kirk, It's Star Trek, it's Star Wars, whatever you want. Coming to life, it's awesome. It's cool, it's exciting. It's still war, man. And space for me, I think of the International Space Station, an international effort, building the space station, tons of different countries. It's constantly crewed by Americans, Canadians, Japanese people, Russians. They're always there. They're working together. It's peace. It's the one thing that we're always working together on. And it makes me sad that this is what it's come to. I mean, I get it. It's inevitable. China, back in 2007, Trump referenced this. Back in 2007, China showed off a system where they could shoot down a weather satellite, which, that in and of itself, scary for some people, pretty awesome technology speaking. And then the United States did the exact same thing the following year. We had to match them. It's an arms race as always. So it's inevitable, and there's going to be a time when we're mining asteroids and resources come into play. And whenever resources come into play, it's conflict. And I get that. I get it. But it just sucks.
You want a demilitarized zone as space. You see space as this peaceful place where it's just used for exploration.
We're in it together.
Right. Everyone is in it together against aliens, a second world out there, maybe.
Impending doom?
Maybe.
Let's try that.
Okay, impending doom. So we're all in it together. No. So you see this as a peaceful process. And basically it should be everyone's playland.
Politics is just...
no room for politics in space.
That's right. It's the wrong side of politics.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
And, I think that's a great transition to the right kind of politics, which this week we are going to look at the family separation plan, which has gone terribly wrong or right.
Depending on your perspective, I guess, right?
I mean, I think both of us believe that it went, for the most part, pretty solid. I don't think there's really anything that could have gone wrong or did go wrong.
He saw a problem. He addressed the problem. And I think we can take solace in that.
And so for those of you who do not know, the family separation plan is essentially what has been happening is families have been being
detained
temporarily, and then separated. The children are being taken away from the parents at the border. And, it really makes sense. The point of this process is to prevent illegal immigrants from coming into the United States over the border. And the idea is that if families are going to be separated right when they cross the border, this is the best plan to prevent these illegal immigrants from coming into the country.
It's the fear factor that we needed. It's what's stopping them. If you know your children's going to get taken away, well, hell, nobody wants that, right?
Right.
And unless little Jimmy doesn't do the chores, in which case maybe we need to rethink things.
Yeah, just taking them away for a little bit, whatever. It's fine. They could be
just a day, like grandparents' house, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. They're just babysitting. You're going to work.
Not the case at the border.
And, I think the idea that this should be done only when children are in danger from the parents, I think that's a good idea. But, if I leave this up to the discretion of the Border Patrol, I think that they could easily handle determining if these children would be in danger.
They're trained for this.
Yeah, and so, there's a little wiggle room there for them. And I don't think they'll really get any of that wrong. And I know there's been some images that have been surfacing, but I really don't think that we've gotten much wrong. In fact,
what could be wrong with children being torn away from their families? That's not a problem. It's fine, and they point out a real problem, and I think this is where Donald really nailed it on the head. It's that human trafficking, though not often spoken about, is a real problem. And we need to know if these children are in danger, if they're being trafficked by these criminals coming over the border. Well, hell, I want them stopped.
Yeah,
and so does America.
And up until just today, the president was basically saying that there's not much he could do here. There was not much of a role he could play, and that this was Congress's job to basically figure this out. And, he saw basically that Congress could not figure this out, and they were struggling to get things done. And so he took matters into his own hands and issued the executive order where he blatantly stated that the children needed to be in extreme danger to be separated, and if not, they should remain with their families and until further action is taken. And so this is just a great move and great flexibility from the president, who realizes that if he's not going to do an executive order, nothing is going to get done.
That's right. It's not like he has the entire backing of Congress behind him. I mean, and he's putting the people of the Border Patrol in power. I mean, these people, they're not aggressive, at least not that I'm aware of.
No.
They're peacekeepers.
Absolutely.
And these guys, they have no stereotypical notions regarding the people coming across the border. They're just doing their job.
Yeah.
Who else can you trust but a Border Patrol agent?
Right. We need to keep this country safe, and luckily for us, the president took matters into his own hands today with the executive order. Okay, and so now we are going to introduce a new segment, which will be called the Chop Move of the Week. And Jeff, do you want to explain this one a little bit?
Yeah, so the Chop Move, it's kind of the inspiration of the name of the podcast. We talked about it a little bit last episode. But a chop move is something, well, really, it's the typical action that a chop would take. I think we can agree on that. A chop move is one of Frankie's famous ones was going to the dining hall without his ID, so we then had to pay for his meal, even though it would have been free. That's a chop move. A chop move
that's just me being parsimonious.
Well, and, whatever you want to call it, it's a chop move.
Taking care of my swipes. That's
Well, unnecessary.
I was playing chess when you guys were playing checkers.
Oh, shit. Well, I guess I need to step up my game.
But yes, in theory, that is the perfect chop move.
Right. And so we made a couple of chop moves last week, and I think the biggest one, the most glaring, really all I need to say is 22-10 and a national title. Frank, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, so this, I'm just going to take responsibility. When I mess up, I'm just going to come out and say it. And last week, I messed up. It was an absolute chop move. When discussing Jeffrey's off-the-cuff segment about NCAA athletics, I referenced LeBron James, I referenced Kevin Garnett, and I referenced Carmelo Anthony as people who went straight to the NBA from high school.
And you have never been more wrong.
It turns out that Carmelo Anthony had a heck of a freshman year at Syracuse, where he had 22 points, averaged 22 points and 10 rebounds a game. And, he led them to a national championship as a freshman. So the fact that I blurted Carmelo Anthony out as someone who skipped college, maybe it's me going to the University of Connecticut, UConn, and, we don't really recognize Syracuse as a great basketball institution, so we don't really keep track of what's going on at Syracuse. I would like to think it was that, but realistically, it was just me being an absolute chop.
Of all people who should have known that fact, it should have been you.
It should have been me.
Common knowledge.
No excuses. I take full responsibility.
You're a chop.
And that's really all I have to say.
You're really a chop.
For the chop move of the week. And so that is an example of what we are looking for the chop move of the week, or like Jeff referenced earlier with the forgetting the card at the dining hall. And so we want to hear from you. So in order to hear from you, we want you to follow the Chop Podcast, which, as I said in the intro, is one word and on Instagram. And we want you to DM us an instance of someone. This can be you. This can be one of your friends. And time when they were a chop. And what we're going to do is we're going to comb through, hopefully it's many DMs, and we are going to pick out the biggest chop move story that we receive each week. And then what we're going to do is that story will feature on our Chop Move of the Week on the podcast. So Jeff and I will read the story, and then we will discuss the move and rate the move in terms of from 1 to 10 in terms of how chop it really was.
Really, you're trying to be the biggest chop out there with your story. And we're just assuming that because you're listening to this podcast, you are a chop. We're all chops. It's a community, as we said. So send us in your best material, and hopefully you'll get picked. But speaking of chop moves, I think in last week's segment, I also made a pretty big chop move, and a lot of people actually messaged us about this. So, Hollywood for Dummies, here we go. I want to start off, before we even get to the headlines, let me just address Farrah Abraham, not the Octomom. I was
Jeff,
confident.
you had me going, too.
I was confident.
You had me going. I had no idea. And, honestly, though, we got a lot of those comments that we got Farrah Abraham completely wrong. But I think what it really showed was that Hollywood for Dummies is the perfect segment for us because we literally know nothing about Hollywood.
Hollywood for Dummies, by Dummies.
We were
that's
getting
our brand.
Farrah Abraham mixed up with John and Kate plus 8. I think that's got to be the Octomom.
I don't think so. I think Octomom, Nadia Suleiman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I looked it up
You did-
afterwards.
you did your
It
research.
grinded me a little bit.
Okay. But so this is the perfect segment. And so the first headline we have for Hollywood for Dummies this week is Tiffany Haddish seemingly confirms who bit Beyonce.
What? Someone bit Beyonce?
So-
and Tiffany Haddish, you know her?
No idea who Tiffany Haddish is.
I don't want to take a stab. I've been wrong before.
Yeah, no idea. I'm maybe a singer. I'm going to go singer.
Singer. All right. Tiffany Haddish, singer. Let's break this down. Tiffany Haddish, singer, seemingly confirms who bit Beyonce. What do you think the scenario is? Rabid fan? Did he have rabies, perhaps? She needs to
Do you
get
think
some
it's
shots.
a fan? What about Blue or Ivy? What if they just bit their mom accidentally?
Is that their children? That's the children, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's to be expected.
Maybe they're
I guess.
teething.
Like, kids bite.
So I'm thinking they're teething.
Tiffany went from genius to common know-it-all. Like, everybody knows babies bite their
Tiffany,
moms.
we just figured out who bit Beyonce.
Honestly, do I get a headline?
it took me
Jeffree
about-
Steiner genuinely confirms who bit Beyonce. It was the baby. Baby's teething.
Took us about 30 seconds, and that was pretty simple. Jeff's going to look up who actually bit Beyonce
Or what the scenario is for that.
so that we can
I guess.
see, how right we were. And so the second phrase is Meghan Markle's dad opens up on royal wedding in TV interview. So, Jeff, what do you think about this one? Opening up about the royal wedding in the TV interview.
This one, Meghan Markle, if you didn't know, this one I do know a little bit about. She just married Prince Harry.
Yes.
Royal wedding, everybody loved it. Well, everybody except the Scottish loved it. Just happened recently. But the big story was her father couldn't make it. I guess he was having some heart issues or had to have surgery. And I gotta be honest, this one just makes me kind of sad. Like, leave the man alone. He couldn't attend his daughter's own wedding because he needed life-saving surgery. As far as I know, I would imagine heart surgery is pretty serious. Whatever the purpose of the interview was, like, stop making the guy feel bad, man. He missed his daughter's wedding. He's probably feeling in the dumps.
Yeah, I
What
don't.
do you think?
I don't have a ton to add here. I'm just hoping he woke up early to watch it. I'm sure he woke up early.
You think
to
they had a
watch it.
TV in the operating table on the operating table?
Yeah, I'm sure. It's like when you go to the dentist and they have the TV up above.
I don't go to the dentist.
Oh, you don't?
No, haven't been in years.
Oh. Well, okay. When you go to the dentist, they have the TV up above. And
Okay.
so
I always see it in movies. I figured they just had the light and you had the big dam
No,
that
yeah,
opens your
no,
mouth.
so
and I don't know.
yeah.
It's foreign to me.
we're in 2018 now, so they have the TV up above.
Oh, wow.
So I'm sure they have something similar to, for her dad. I'm sure he saw what was happening. And that, that's really all he needed to see was the wedding. And so we looked up who actually bit Beyonce, and it turns out it was.
Oh, you did? Is that what you were doing over there?
Yeah. And so
So what's the deal?
it turns out that Tiffany Haddish believes that
Still don't know who Tiffany is. Maybe a singer.
that actor Sanaa Lathan.
No way you pronounce that right. Oh,
Sanaa.
what is it? 2 A's? Oh.
Sanaa Lathan was the culprit behind Beyonce's face bite.
Oh, God, she got bitten in the face.
So she got bit in the face by an actor,
Not the baby.
Sanaa Lathan. It says actor here. It looks like Sanaa is
I think it's
female.
I
It would
think
be
it's
actress.
like an umbrella term. It encompasses all genders. We don't worry about it.
I thought-
Don't talk about it.
okay.
Stop talking. No, no. I get that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All encompassing, yes. Okay. We like that. So actor Sanaa Lathan bit Beyonce, so we were wrong.
I wonder what the motive was. Was it a playful bite? I need more.
Yeah, we need more.
Was it aggressive?
Can someone get back to us and report to us on our Instagram page?
If you know what's happening, or you think that you know better than Tiffany Haddish on Who Bit Beyonce, well, you come tell us. And send an email to chop.podcast@gmail.com and let us know, because we could use some help. We are dummies, after all, the biggest dummies out there when it comes to Hollywood. So I think you have another headline here. It's Jessica Simpson. This one is straight out of New York Daily News. Jessica Simpson cries after son Ace breaks his arm.
Can you believe that?
Sad. It's sad, is what it is.
It's very sad. You never want to see someone break their arm. I would hope, though, that she's not getting too soft on us, and this was a bit of a... I want to take that back. I don't hope that this is a gruesome injury, but I hope for her sake that it was a little gruesome, maybe like a Kevin Ware, because why would you cry about... I mean, what if it's just a little arm break? What if he was falling and he just, he planted his wrist and his wrist turned, and then that
Two things. Let's
I know there's a lot to unpack right there.
What do you think the age is of the kid? Ace sounds like a badass. I'm imagining like...
When was Ace Ventura made, the movie? That was like 2000.
You think that was the inspiration? Jim Carrey as Ace Ventura. I would name my kid after it, but I'm not Jessica Simpson. I guess
it wasn't after Romo. He's no Ace.
Collapses in the playoffs every time.
Yeah, he's no Ace.
Let's say I'm
gonna say 8.
8. I was thinking 7, so I'm cool with it. 8 years old. All right, we get that out of the way. What's the scenario here? What broken arm? How does an 8-year-old break an arm?
Got to be Razor Scooter going down a big hill.
That's weird. I was thinking the same thing. I swear to God, you're in my mind. That's nuts. Razor Scooter. I feel like Razor Scooter, highest cause of ankle injuries in the country. You ever swing one of those puppies around and smack your right ankle bone?
That feels good. That feels almost as good as the...
I can feel it now.
Feels almost as good as like the wedge in golf going right against your ankle bone, or the putter after you miss a putt.
I've never missed that badly.
Oh, that's... No, like you slam the putter down because you're upset.
Okay, I get what I thought you were just completely whiffing on a putt.
No.
I was thinking more like stepping on a Lego. Like that's pretty painful. You ever done that?
Yeah.
Lego.
How would they break his arm?
It wouldn't break it. It wouldn't break an arm? It just hurts.
Oh yes, okay.
It would make me
like
cry.
Stubbing toe. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so we don't know how he broke his arm. We think maybe Razor Scooter. And Jessica Simpson crying. I guess this is sad. You
know, she's a mom. She empathizes with her son. That's great. Fantastic. Ace, buck up, kid. You got this.
Yeah, you got this. You'll be good in 4 to 6 weeks with that hard cast.
Arms heal. Get some kids to sign. He just became the most popular kid in school.
Yeah,
honestly.
Exactly.
I don't know if he's in school.
He's got girls to draw the hearts.
Do they go to
girls
normal
who draw
schools?
the hearts on the cast for him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. First girlfriend coming out of this arm break.
Best thing that's ever happened.
Things are only looking up. But Ace, he'll recover. And in the meantime, I think it's a good time for us to take our break. Thanks for listening. You're listening to Chopping It Up on choppodcast.podbean.com.
This episode is brought to you by the second annual Chop Classic, Southeastern Connecticut's premier below-average amateur golf tournament. If you want to check out the action on July 1st, follow chop.classic on Instagram. That's chop.classic on Instagram for field updates and tournament information. And we're back. And you know what time it is? It is time to go around the world with Jeffrey Steiner. That's right, Mr. Steiner is going to give you a trip itinerary. He is going to plan a 4-day, 3-night trip for you and maybe your parents, or maybe a loved one, or hopefully your parents are a loved one.
Maybe you're just traveling by yourself. That's okay too. Just go out, see the world,
talk to people.
I'm going to give you some ideas around the world.
What we're going to do is we have a globe here, and Jeff is going to spin the globe, and I'm going to close my eyes and aimlessly point at the globe, and I'm going to point where you are going to be going on your next trip.
All right.
So here we go.
Frankie, close your eyes. Globe globe is spinning. Frankie, let's see what we got here. Looks like
And we're in Asia again.
we're back in Asia, and it looks like we're visiting Malaysia today. All right, Malaysia.
Malaysia it is.
We visited China last week, and apparently we're doing a follow-up trip to Malaysia, just south. We're skipping over the peninsula, I guess. No Thailand, no Vietnam, no. Straight to Malaysia.
That's really crazy that I picked two countries in pretty much the exact same spot.
Apparently you gravitate towards Asia.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
That's, well, Frankie, that sounds more like a personal problem or about a bonus.
Oh no, you gotta embrace Asian culture.
All right, Malaysia.
Nothing but great things there. All right, Jeff, you ready?
I guess, yeah.
What do we got going on in Malaysia?
Malaysia, well, lots of islands. I'll tell you that right off the bat. Lots of islands. I wouldn't recommend taking a ship there unless you're coming from Asia, because I feel like it would just take a long time. Like personally, coming from the United States, I don't want to take a ship to Malaysia. I'm flying in maybe China first. First day you're flying into China, and then you move from China, take an airline to Malaysia. Malaysia Airlines. I'll let you think what you want to think about Malaysia Airlines. We won't get into that.
You'll get there, no problem.
But the point of this Malaysia trip is we're here. We're gonna relax. We're enjoying Southeast Asia. We're enjoying the island living. And Malaysia, the bustling metropolis of Sarawak is the capital. Sarawak sounds like a nice place to be. I'm looking at the map. I'm not seeing it on the map. I got to be honest. That's really weird. How old is this map, Frankie?
Well, we remember we were talking about last week.
Yeah, I know. I
there's
would
no
imagine.
Kosovo.
Okay, well, bustling metropolis, sleepy backwater compared to the cities of peninsular Malaysia, but heck, we're enjoying the island living. We are enjoying some fresh food in Malaysia.
What kind of food are we eating, Jeffrey?
I would imagine that Malaysian culture, it's the island culture. We're eating a lot of fish, maybe some eel. I know there's a lot of jungle over there, so I got to be honest with you. I don't know the vegetables.
They
don't have corn.
The monsoon type of tropical climate, so they have their monsoon season there. So you're going to want to make sure you plan your trip, not during the monsoon season.
I got to be honest. Call me ignorant. I don't know what time of year monsoon. Summertime, I think.
Yeah,
monsoons?
I think it is summertime. Studied this a few years ago. Don't really remember.
Well, first day, we're there. We're checking out the local sites. Maybe we're checking out some local restaurants, trying some new food you've never tried before. I think, you're going outside of your boundaries here. Eat some new food. Eat some vegetables that you've never heard of before and probably can't pronounce. And, just relax the first day. We like to start our trips off here, chopping it up. We like to relax the first day. Second day, we're going into the jungle. And we're going to start off on the Batang Rajang River. It's got a catchy name. We're going to go kayaking up the Batang Rajang in Malaysia. I'm picturing you, Frankie. You said a loved one, perhaps. Maybe you just met this girl and you've been dating for a month, maybe
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
Well, I guess probably better to take her on a trip after 3 months than 1 month. I don't know. It depends on your relationship. But either way, I picture you, her, you're taking kayaks or canoes, something, going up the Batang Rajang, seeing jungles, seeing people all around you.
Not seeing any snakes or anything. None of that.
I bet you'll see some snakes.
Nothing too major, I'm sure.
Okay, well, that's your opinion. I bet there's a lot of snakes in the jungle. All right, so first day, you're canoeing, you're kayaking. It's not going to take all day. You're going up the river. Maybe there's some sights. I don't know, local monuments. I've heard that there's a lot of old temples and whatnot that you can see in Southeast.
Some Buddhist temples.
Buddhist temples, yeah.
Yes.
It's you think that's the state religion, Malaysia? Let's check it out. Yeah, Buddhism big in Malaysia. Maybe talk to somebody about that. I don't know if you have religion, but if you're looking for that option, Buddhism, that's the way to go. Second day, we're on the second day.
Maybe we can actually meet there.
I'm already lost on my own trip. Second day, you went up the river. You're exploring the jungle. You're going on some hikes. You're getting out into nature. Third day, I got to be honest. Nightlife in Malaysia, only in the big cities. We're far from the big cities. We're out in the jungle. But third day, we're taking up the summit of Mount Kinabalu, Southeast Asia's highest peak. It is 13,432 feet, and you get epic views over the different islands in the area. You know, it's beautiful. Anytime you get to climb a mountain, it's a life-changing experience. Never mind going halfway across the world to do so.
Sounds great.
Yeah, start off the third day hiking a mountain, whatever. And then back down, maybe visit an orangutan preserve.
Ooh.
You know, I've never seen one. Have you seen an orangutan? I think it would be pretty cool.
Is it an orangutan?
Or,
There's an orangutan.
I think it's tan. I don't think there's a G on the end.
I always
they're,
heard
they're orange.
I always heard
it
it
has a G.
I always heard pronounced orangutan.
Orangutan. You just leave the
We might be talking about something
orangutan.
completely different.
I
think we're talking about the same thing.
I think you're just thinking about the drink Tang. You remember Tang?
No, I think I'm talking about orangutans.
All right.
My elementary
we'll
school.
We'll agree to disagree. All right. So first day, let's recap. First day, we visited the city. We tried some local food. We branched out a little bit.
Some fish and some eel.
Second
day, we're going.
Got out of our comfort zone. Second day, we're canoeing up the Batang Rajang.
What a name.
Just enjoying nature. Third day, we're summiting Mount Kinabalu. You know, Malaysia, there's a lot of natural attraction here, so we're just gonna make the most of that. And you know what? Visit the Orangutan Reserve. Fourth day, final day. We're doing something that I think is really cool, Frankie, and I've never done before, but I think it'd be amazing. You can explore Malaysia's coral reefs. How would you feel about scuba diving? Just taking
I do
going
like
for a
scuba
swim.
diving. Yeah.
You ever done it?
I have.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Where'd you do that?
I saw a ray, probably about 5 feet from me. I freaked out a little bit.
Yeah.
Recalled
I
Steve
could
Irwin.
Oh
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. No. I've been. Yeah. Scuba diving's fun until you see that ray. About 3 feet.
Well, apparently in Malaysia around the coral reefs, you can expect to see hammerhead sharks and whale sharks as well. So I'm pretty pumped about the whale sharks. Hammerheads, I'm less excited about.
Yeah, you don't want to see.
Are you in a
one of
cage,
those.
or do you just have the biggest balls? You're free diving.
No, I'm in a cage all day.
You need a cage for a hammerhead? I mean, they have. It's the
I'm in a
hammerhead. Do you think they can just slot it?
I'm good.
You think they can get
I'm
right
in a
through
cage.
that?
I'm good. Yeah, no, they're not getting in the cage. I'm in a cage that they cannot get into. How's that?
Well, coral reefs offshore from Sabah in East Malaysia. That's the place to check out. You bring it back in, you rein it in. You tried the local food, you saw the local sights, you visited the jungle, you climbed some mountains, you went canoeing with a loved one, and you checked out some sharks at the coral reef. Sounds like a nice trip. Malaysia, the place to go. Just don't go in monsoon season. That could cause some trouble. You know.
And yeah, the trip home, the flight home should be good, no problems, and you should be home. Yeah,
I've never thought about a trip to Malaysia personally, but you know, now that I've read up a little bit on it, I'm intrigued.
And now that why not?
The Batang Rajang.
That name
What a
in
river.
itself, I think we need to go there.
Well, I mean, it sounds good.
I think everyone should go there, but I think we might specifically have to go there.
You know, just as a follow-up. I get that. You know, we have an obligation to deliver to the audience, and I get that. It sounds like a fun time. And you know what else? While we're speaking about sound, let's try out our other segment, Spielberg's Sound System. This is the segment in which we take the opening line of a popular song. In this case, we're going with the United States Top 50 playlist on Spotify, and we take the first lyric of the song and we come up with our own movie plot lines. We tap into our inner Steven Spielberg's Sound System. The opening line of what song, Frankie? What's our song for today?
This week's song, and this is a bit of a touchy subject. This week's song is "Sad!"
Sad.
By XXX or Triple X Tentacion, which is a little Spanish flair there. It's the proper pronunciation.
I think that might mean temptation. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but
that sounds good.
The name
good with me.
Triple X Temptation.
I'm good with that.
A little racy.
Yeah, no, that Spanish flair. You think it means temptation? We're rolling.
Triple
X Temptation.
He's been in the news lately. Recently passed away. I would imagine that's probably the reason for his songs topping the list.
Exactly. This is probably why it's at the top of the list. But you know, we would be a bunch of frauds if we did not use this song for this segment. So here it goes. So the first line, the first phrase in the song is "Who am I?" ? Someone that's afraid to let go, comma.
The is key. Who am I? Someone that's afraid to let go. Frankie, what you got? Give me a movie plot line. Break it down for me and deliver me a blockbuster.
Well, this is very tough to do, considering the circumstances. And who am I? Someone that's afraid to let go. And I'm gonna twist this into a positive direction. You know, after last week's movie that I came up with, which was very sad, and
I think we both kind of
I wasn't
that route,
I wasn't
maybe.
even proud. I was not very proud of where that movie ended up. So we're gonna go positive here. So who am I? Someone that's afraid to let go. And I'm gonna say Tentacion. He really let go, and by this let go, by him letting go, he was able to show how talented he was musically. So he was able to show, what kind of writer he could be, what kind of rapper he could be, and this led to him living a desired life up until this point. He was successful. People looked up to him. He had popular songs at the top of the chart. So who am I? Someone that's afraid to let go. So this is going to be a biography of Triple X, recalling the good parts of his life. And so he was able to let go. Maybe this was from a younger age when he first wrote this lyric, and he was able to let go through his music. So it's basically a biography that's showing how he came and rose to prominence and became a successful rapper.
Wow.
So yeah, that's
Very
where I'm
deep.
going with that one.
That's a good plot line. I think you're really onto something there. But I'm gonna go with a different route from you. I hope you're okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go the short film route.
Okay.
Mine's a comedy. We're inside the head. The lyric is, "Who am I? Someone that's afraid to let go." I think a short film, a comedy, inside the head of maybe again back to the 8-year-olds. We're going 8-year-olds, dude. So back when I was a kid, there was this thing that we did in our family. Now that I think back, it probably wasn't very safe. But in the wintertime, after we'd get some snow, my dad lived on a dead end road, like a cul-de-sac. And what he used to do is we would all get our snow gear on, get the snow boots and all that. You get so wrapped up that you can barely lower your arms to your hips because everything's so poofy. Yeah. And what
I know about not raising the arms anywhere.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You're an expert. What he would do is he'd pull the car out into the road because no other cars would be on the road, just snow. And my sisters and I, we would lay down behind the car and we would grab the back bumper. And he would drive down the road and we'd be essentially pulled along by the car. And we used to play a game by who he would get progressively faster, and we'd see who could hang on the longest. And the last one to let go was the winner. And so I kind of think of that when I'm picturing this movie. So I'm picturing a narration of a short film, the narrator being the inner monologue of a kid on the back of this car. And he loses every time, always loses, and it's a feel good film because he this time wills himself to not be the person who's afraid to let go. He wins. And he really short film, not much development.
And he feels this jubilation when he wins.
Oh, it's pure.
And he feels like he's on top of the world.
You know what? I'm gonna demote myself a little bit, even further. Demote the movie. I saw The Incredibles 2 this past week, and at the beginning of every Pixar film, they always have a short animation film that only lasts 10 minutes. And so I'm picturing Not Afraid to Let Go as my intro film leading up to the main blockbuster. And you know that I feel good about that. You need those movies too.
Yeah, no, I'm still shocked at the story of what you used to do when the snow was on the ground.
Is that strange?
That's very strange. Very bold.
The worst part was when you were the last one to get on the bumper and you were the closest to the exhaust pipe. That's when things got dicey, and I was the youngest, so I was always at the exhaust pipe, and
that's diabolical.
Might explain some things.
That's really the only. That is absolutely diabolical that you would do something like that. Yeah, wow. I don't really know what to say. I'm assuming our listeners are going to hear this and they're going to be like, wow. And so let's transition or move on.
I know that was a little.
Let's just move
maybe
on.
a little too much personal information.
Let's just move on. Let's just move on to our second to last segment. We're gonna add a segment at the end. Today,
little bonus.
Yeah,
content.
a little bonus content. For maybe 3 more weeks. Hint, hint.
I like that. I like the way you're running the show.
And so, if I were president, let's hear from you first, Mr. Steiner. If you're president, what are you doing?
All right. If I'm president of the United States of America, the USA, all the power of the government behind me, what would I do? While I'm thinking about childhood, a really, really jarring moment for me was the transition from middle school to high school. Because you know what happened in that transition, Frankie?
You got facial hair.
By God, we lost recess.
Oh.
We lost it. It was so much fun. Dodgeball out in the parking lot.
Can't beat it.
Wall ball up against the side of the school.
Wall ball was the best.
You can't beat recess. It was the exercise.
Soccer with the kids kicking you in the shins every 5 seconds.
It was fantastic. We played on pavement. Everybody would skin a knee all the time. It was great. Recess, it was the way we would get our exercise. And quite frankly, I don't think I'm the only one who believes this. The people of our country, myself included, I've put on a lot of weight, could use some extra exercise. So if I were president...
I might be getting those pants soon, which I like that.
In case the listeners don't know, I had to unbuckle my pants when I sat down because the waist is getting a little tight. Thanks for pointing that out, Frankie. I was feeling self-conscious. Recess continuation. So I would build on... You remember the president's program in gym class? You had to do sit-ups to that timer. It would always do clicks.
Yeah, absolute joke. The little fitness test.
It is a joke, but not for the reason that you're thinking. It's a joke that the president never followed up after that. You did the president's test, and then you get to high school, and it's all over. We did 1 year of recess, I think. Yeah, we just had gym class. We didn't have recess. What am I talking about? So my point is, kids need exercise. They need a fit lifestyle ingrained in them. Let's make it mandatory. Either extend gym classes and make them serious, or...
I think we also need to take away the phones if we're going to do this.
Yeah, put them in a bin, put them in a locker beforehand.
Check your phones before recess.
A phone check, yeah. That's what we need, phone check. Make it mandatory for these kids to exercise at least an hour every day. It's a revamp of the educational system, I suppose. But that's what I would do. Reintegrate recess into the curriculum, or make gym classes much more serious because the kids need exercise. And I think it's a model that a lot of companies could follow. Mandatory exercise during the workday would benefit a lot of people. You're happier when you exercise, and you're a heck of a lot healthier. So if I were president, let's continue the idea of recess, huh?
Speaking of exercise, that kind of piggybacks, or I'll piggyback onto your idea.
I'll allow it.
If I'm president, you know what I'm doing? I'm playing golf like almost every day.
I like that.
It's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. I like to play golf. If I'm president, I can pretty much do what I want. I could play at any course in America I would want.
What would be the first course you'd play?
Augusta National, hands down.
Wow, you just going for the big one, huh?
Yeah, no questions asked.
No lead up. You got no
foreplay.
if you will.
Nice.
I got golf puns.
Yeah, I'd be a member at Augusta National if I was president, and I would just play there probably every day. I would take a cart. I would drive very close to my ball. And, that's pretty much what I would do if I were president.
Why? You don't drive close to your ball now? You have to be
president.
Well,
I usually respect the rules, like cart path only on this hole because it rained yesterday. Or you can't bring the cart within 20 feet of the green. But, if I'm president, I'm doing whatever I want.
You're making a mess of the place.
Yeah, well, they can fix it.
Don't come to my club.
They're going to fix it. That's what they get paid to do is fix it so I can just play. So if I'm president, I'm playing golf every day.
All right, well.
And
more power to you, Frank.
Thank you. And
big exercise guy, loves sports. Frankie, what's this bonus content you're talking about
today? Bonus content, we got a few comments after the first episode. Why no World Cup talk? We only threw in a few tidbits about the World Cup. And so, I felt it was only right that I give the listeners my 5 main takeaways from the first week of the World Cup. And this will continue for the next 3 weeks until the end of the World Cup. And so here we go. So my 5 main points. Number 1, Neymar is a big softie. Number 2, Ronaldo can finish. Number 3, Harry Kane can also finish. Number 4, once again, constantly attacking and forgetting to defend led to Germany's demise in Russia. Go figure. And number 5, no one knows what a penalty kick is in soccer. And this is the only one I'm going to elaborate on. I watch 3 games a day, and every single time someone gets tackled in the box, I hear one announcer say, "Oh, that's a penalty," and then the other one says, "Oh, there's nothing in it for me," when the guy gets wrapped up and thrown to the ground. What needs to be in it for you for it to be a penalty kick? I just don't understand why, if it's a foul in the middle of the field, why can't it just be a foul in the box? And it would be easy to determine what a penalty kick is. But now no one has any clue what a penalty kick is, and quite frankly, I think it's ruining the game a little bit. And that's really all I have for the World Cup. Jeff, I think that concludes our second episode. Is there anything you'd like to say to the listeners?
I just keep on keeping it on. Thanks for listening to Chopping It Up, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.